All right, let's get started. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest ideas in all economics. How do we decide what something costs? We're going to unpack how supply and demand work together to set prices for just about everything.
I mean, you've definitely seen this, right? You go to buy your favorite snack and suddenly it's a few rupees more than last week. Or you try to get tickets to a huge concert. They sell out in minutes and then they're online for like 5 times the price. What is going on there?
Well, the secret isn't some big mystery. It all boils down to the powerful dance between two fundamental forces. Demand, that's what we, the buyers, want, and supply, that's what the sellers have to offer. The push and pull between these two is what sets the price.
So, how exactly does this dance between buyers and sellers work? It's all about finding a balance point, a state that economists call equilibrium. You can think of this as the market's core engine, always working to find that perfect middle ground.
Okay, let's get the official definition down, word for word. Equilibrium, a state where the quantity demanded of a commodity equals the quantity supplied. So what does that actually mean? It's basically the market's sweet spot. It's that one perfect price where the number of things people want to buy is exactly the same as the number of things sellers want to sell. No one's left empty-handed and there are no leftovers. The market clears.
Now, take a look at this table. It tells a really interesting story. Look at the very top. If the price is just 1 rupee, a whopping 60 people want to buy it, but sellers are only willing to part with 5 units. That's a massive shortage. Now flip to the bottom. At 5 rupees, sellers are dreaming big. They're ready to supply 65 units, but buyers only want 10. Now you've got a huge surplus.
And these imbalances create automatic pressure. In that shortage at 1 rupee, what happens? All those buyers who couldn't get one start to compete, right? They'll offer a bit more money, pushing the price up. And in the surplus at 5 rupees, all those sellers with boxes of unsold goods start to compete by lowering their prices. They got to move that product. The market is always pushing itself back to the middle.
And that middle ground, that magic number from our table, is 2 rupees. At that exact price, demand is 35 units, and guess what? Supply is also 35 units. It's a perfect match. This is what we call the equilibrium price. It's the price that clears the market. Now, if we were to draw this out, and you absolutely will have to for your exams, it becomes even clearer. We'd have a downward-sloping demand curve and an upward-sloping supply curve. The equilibrium is that one single point where those two lines cross. That intersection, that X on the graph, that's everything.
But let's be real, the world isn't static. Things change all the time. Your income changes, new technology comes out, the weather goes crazy. So what happens to our nice, stable equilibrium when the market gets shaken up? Let's take a look.
Okay, first scenario. Let's imagine everybody suddenly gets a raise. Awesome. With more money in our pockets, we're going to want to buy more stuff at every price. This causes the entire demand curve to shift to the right. Now, at the old price of 2 rupees, we've got a problem. A sudden shortage. More people want the item than sellers expected. This new competition forces the price to climb until we find a new equilibrium, which will be at a higher price and a higher quantity.
So, for your exam notes, here's the key takeaway. It's super simple. An increase in demand means the curve shifts right. And the result? Both the equilibrium price goes up and the equilibrium quantity goes up. Easy to remember.
All right, let's try a different story. This time, imagine a horrible drought hits and ruins half the coffee crop. What happens? Well, at every single price, there's just less coffee available to sell. This shifts the entire supply curve to the left. At the old price, people still want their coffee, but it's not there. You have a shortage, and that shortage pushes the price up until a new, more expensive equilibrium is found.
So here's our next rule to memorize. A decrease in supply means the supply curve shifts to the left. And the result? The equilibrium price goes up, but the equilibrium quantity actually goes down. See how they move in opposite directions here? That's a key detail.
Okay, so far so good. We've handled one curve moving at a time. But in the real world, things are way more chaotic. So let's tackle the trickier question. What happens when both demand and supply shift at the exact same time?
Now, this might look a little confusing, but there's a simple logic to it. Look at the left side. If both demand and supply go up, we know for sure that more stuff is going to be bought and sold, so quantity definitely increases. But the price? We don't know. It all depends on how much each curve shifted. Now look at the right. If demand goes up but supply goes down, both of those things push the price higher, so the price definitely increases. But the quantity? Now that's uncertain.
Okay, enough with the theory. The best way to learn this is to actually use it.
So let's run through a practice problem, just like you'd get on an exam.
Here's our scenario, pulled from a real-world event. We've got heavy rains that have totally wrecked the rice crop.
So put on your economist hat for a second. Based on everything we've just covered, what do you think is going to happen to the price of rice, and what's going to happen to the amount of rice sold?
Here is the three-step method you should use every single time. It's foolproof. Step 1. What's the main effect? The rain damaged crops. That's a supply problem. The supply of rice is going to fall. Step 2. Which way does the curve shift? A fall in supply is a shift to the left. Step 3. Where's the new equilibrium? Well, a leftward shift in supply means the new intersection point is higher and to the left. That means a higher price and a lower quantity. Done. We have covered a ton of ground. So let's wrap this up by boiling it all down into a super quick revision guide with just the essentials you absolutely need to remember. These are the 4 golden rules. You have to know these cold. Increase in demand, price and quantity both go up. Decrease in demand, both go down. Increase in supply, price goes down, quantity goes up. And a decrease in supply, price goes up, quantity goes down. Burn these 4 into your memory. And for those trickier simultaneous shifts, here's the cheat sheet. If both curves are moving in the same direction, both increasing or both decreasing, you will always know what happens to quantity, but the price will be uncertain. If they move in opposite directions, you'll always know what happens to the price, but the quantity will be uncertain.
And in the end, it all comes back to this one beautiful central idea. Through all these shifts and pressures, the market is this amazing self-correcting machine. It naturally works its way towards that one point of balance where what sellers want to sell perfectly matches what buyers want to buy.
So I'll leave you with a challenge. Now that you have the tools, open up a news website today. Find a story, a new tech gadget, a change in government rules, a big storm somewhere. Can you apply that 3-step method we just learned and predict how it's going to affect the price and quantity of something? That's when this stops being textbook theory and starts being the real world.